do you think he joined the Brotherhood?
Well, I think he took the carrot, because this was several years ago, before the whole flat Earth thing happened. So I think he took what did he have to lose at the time? He was just a generic conspiracy guy who didn't believe in NASA, and so somebody comes to him and says, "Yeah, take." They offer you the carrot and the stick at the same time, and he took it. And why not? And I think he's regretting it now. So now what he's doing is he's letting this. He's not talking about flat Earth by berating it. He's bringing it to light, come sideways. So I that's, at least I'm an optimist. So that's what I think he's doing. Now I could be completely wrong. He could be trying to tear it apart, but he's doing a horrible job of it.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Shaquille O'Neal when he became a Mason, and then all of a sudden he's on all these Gold Bond and the General Insurance commercials, and they just have him plastered all over the television now, doing all these things.
Yeah, again, we'll see, but I will say this, he has gone out of his way. I thought the first few, there's an old military saying, and that is, first time is happenstance, second time is coincidence, third time is enemy action. And he's brought it up on at least 12 shows now, where he's gone out of his way to saying flat earthers are nuts and you shouldn't look at flat Earth. But is he doing that, or is he saying, or is he just he's saying what you really shouldn't be looking at is flat Earth. Flat Earth is nuts. Flat Earth. Is he just inadvertently helping us, or is he deliberately doing it? I'm not sure yet. I'd love to talk to him one day.
Yeah, it just seems strange to me, that he would now be supporting NASA. Because it's so obvious,
He absolutely had his material down when he was attacking NASA. He knew it all. The shadows and the blast crater, and how the slow motion looked wrong, and the second generation video production of it. I mean, he had it all down, and he was tearing people apart. Because he could, all things being equal, the person with the most conviction usually wins, and he was winning. And I think that bothered some people. It's like, look, we can't have this guy keep doing this, so let's see if we can, help him out a little bit and get him to back off. And he did. And now he's got a very successful podcast, and the show on Sci-Fi Network only ran one season, so they'll give you the carrot, but they won't give you the royal treatment. So they said, look, you have to get your own ratings. We'll give you the television show, and his show only ran one season. So
yeah, well, we'll see how it all turns out. But hey, let's talk about some of your most interesting guests, because I think some of the shows you've done, like the missile, the guy that talked about the missiles and how all that is connected to flat Earth, the submarine commander, the flight instructor, different individuals like that, and how their testimony really affirms this material and this this study in this area of research.
Oh, sure. The best thing that, again, I didn't solicit anybody when it came to this. They all contacted me. Again, that goes to show you, put your phone number and your email out there. A lot of people, think, because Eric Dubé's got way more subscribers than me, and Jaron does, and people. But when you're easy to get a hold of, people get a hold of you. Like I got to put this out there. I'm going to do my 90th interview, I think, next week. And the people that were getting a hold of me, the first half dozen, they were looking for Matt Boylan. And so, but they called me because my phone number was out there. Circle back, that's how all my subject matter experts were getting a hold of me. Is like I'm easy to find. My phone number and my email address are everywhere. And so the first guy that came out, oh man, was he great. That was the United States Navy missile instructor, Sean McCrary. And he was, I don't know if he had ulterior motives, because he was trying to get out of the Navy anyway, and I think this was a great way to do it. Well, he'd been in 10 years, and he didn't want to be in anymore. So think about it. It's like, okay, I'm going to speak my mind about something, and either I'm going to go out on my own, or they're going to try to Section 8 me. Boy, would have that been a great story. That would have helped us more than anything. If they would have said, oh yeah, you're insane, we're going to boot you out of the Navy. And then he would be like, what are you talking about? I'm insane because I believe the earth is flat?
Right.
there, that's a book deal and a television circuit thing, because the attorneys would line up to back him. Because he just passed a psychological profile. They say he seems sane, but he believes the Earth's flat. How's that possible? But he comes on, and he goes all out, and he says not only, because basically he was a missile instructor for the Sparrow missile system, the sea missile system, and what he was saying was that they use a 2-inch beam radar to from their ship, and they go directly site to site, and paint a straight, perfectly flat line on these ships, and they paint the target, and then they fire the missile. The missile looks for the frequency of the painting, of the laser beam, or I'm sorry, the beam radar as it's bouncing off the ship, and then they have to hold it on there, and then the missile comes down and hits the ship. And he goes, it's really strange, though, because we're using a 2-inch beam radar, but these are on targets that are 50 nautical miles away, which are longer than land miles, otherwise known as statute miles. And he goes that those ships, ships aren't very tall, 50, 60 feet, depending on what you're looking at, maybe a little bigger, for the big ships. But he's going, there should be a lot of curvature there. So how is this beam radar bending and going over the curvature of the Earth, and how can we even see it? And he goes, it shouldn't be possible. We're firing a beam radar that goes way beyond the curvature of the Earth. In addition, he also says that the Coriolis effect, which is known as the spinning of the Earth, that's not taken into account in the firing solutions. We're firing great distances. He goes, so how are these snipers that are on mainstream media that are firing less than a mile saying that they have to compensate for the spin of the Earth when we're firing 60 miles and we're not doing it at all? The spin of the Earth, which is 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, is not being taken into. It's not into the firing solution. And on top of that, then he was, because he has, Navy ships are traveling all over the water, he's going, the maps are wrong. He's going, when we plot courses, we don't have to take into account the curvature of the Earth when it comes to plotting courses. And between all those three things, again, he was my very first subject matter expert guest. That just opened the floodgates for everybody else. So it was fantastic listening to him go on about it. Because he had so much conviction, and on top of that, he sent me 2 videos after the fact, which I'll probably put back up, because I know most people don't question him anymore, but because some people say no, he can't be real, and so he sent me 2 videos. One was him in a military helicopter flying, around his ship, which was the Iwo Jima, and which is kind of like a mini aircraft carrier. It's like an amphibious assault thing where you can send helicopters and small planes. And then he also sent me a video, which I'd never seen before, from the inside of the Sparrow missile system training room. And just to drive the point home, even though it was super quiet, he took his phone and he wrote down flat Earth on a cocktail napkin in a wax marker, and then wrote Mark Sargent underneath it. So it was perfect. It couldn't have been. I was amazed, and I did not ask him. In fact, Jonathan was even trying to talk him out of it off air. He's going, look, don't you want to be anonymous about this whole thing?
People should go back and listen to that show. You have it on. You have a playlist, I think, of all the subject matter guests. He was such a well-spoken guy, and very smart.
Oh yeah, very, very smart. He was a great guy, and yeah, you're right. The playlist. I started getting so many guests that in fact I just did one last week. I'm sorry, the week before, where I made a playlist called Testimony Shows, and it's if you go to Mark K. Sargent, my YouTube channel, you'll just see it, and of course it'll be under Flat Earth anyway. But I just have to start stacking them up, and so I think I've got 20 something videos in there, which cover a lot of ground. And I know you got to go to break here real quick, and we'll talk about them in a second, but let me rattle them all off real fast.
Yeah, please do.
United States Navy missile instructor, United States Air Force navigator, Marine Corps sniper instructor, Navy submarine chief, United States Army artillery radar operator, an Australian intelligence officer, an American flight instructor, an industrial engineer specializing in valves and seals, a career surveyor, retired with 32 years experience. He was a planar surveyor, not a geodetic surveyor. A international shipping expert, a corporate travel agent, an air traffic controller, United States Army master gunner, an aviation and ground training combat expert, a USDA surveyor of 27 years, a 32nd degree Mason to round it off, and then an etheric science researcher, a commercial airline captain, and then just recently a merchant marine, and which was great because I didn't even know much about merchant marines, which are really kind of like the National Guard, but for the Navy.
That is very cool. And, as you were naming all of these individuals, I was thinking how very interesting and how very cool it would be to do a conglomeration, like a video of 5-minute segments from each one of those individuals.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and put them together as one, quick testimony video. Oh, that would be just really deeply profound. But when we return from break, I want to speak more about these individuals and the importance of their discussions and their coming forth in the way that they have. And then near the end of the show, I'd like to spend some time on some of your interesting callers and also emails and some of that material. I think that would be really interesting in bringing forth all of that. Kathy, do you have a comment before we go to break? I think we've got a minute.
He can pass on mentioning my emails. I send him a lot of emails.
Right on.
Oh, by the way, hi Kathy. Nice to talk to you again.
Hi, Mark.
Well,
I don't really send him the emails, kind of chatting him up like so many do. But hey, Mark, you got to know about this because I find things really fast.
Yeah, you do. I have a series of people that send me all sorts of vids, and it always starts with, "You may have already seen this, but here's the link anyway."
Yeah, well, I appreciate all that because I usually haven't seen them, and so it's a blessing. All right, we'll be right back, everyone.